Alright, I guess what I want to say is, I haven't got out of Menards yet, but I'll say it now. The big reason why I want to get out of Menards is, I believe, like, on day one, before I ever started, they got after me because I could have had a job at a factory called TTM, where I would have been full-time automatically, but the thing is, I didn't know if I was able to do it because they were telling me that they would fire me if I wasn't going fast enough. Now, with, after that, then Menards HR on day one, and this is what really made things miserable, was got after me because I could have had a second job at Woodman's, working only 4 days a month, every other weekend, as a Woodman's maintenance associate. And then after that, I knew it didn't work because I could feel, even on day one, extreme pain in my left foot. I could not stand all day like they'd want me to. Then all of a sudden, the customers, I guess even with Menards, they didn't train me on everything. So I was following rules to my best with Menards, and then, all of a sudden, customers started bullying me, saying, "You gotta move faster, we're in a hurry. Oh, why can't you scan an item and go item quantity?" And we're pretty sure that they're all the same. There was a couple of times they were wrong and they were different items. I scanned each item individually, just like Menards said to. And they still wanted to throw a goddamn fit. And like I said, like with that one thing, Menards never taught me how to do a gift card. But, and like I said, the big reason I'm pointing out is the customers bullying me. But it wasn't only the customers bullying me. Here my coworkers are bullying me, and then here's the thing with Menards. You read something, and then all of a sudden they'll change it, and then they'll write you up, because I think we were told on day one by HR that if the sign does not say mandatory for meeting, we didn't have to go, but to look for it. I didn't go to a meeting because I was scheduled off. Then all of a sudden, I got written up for no reason, and then they changed it saying, "Oh, you're required to go to all meetings," and this wasn't HR saying it. And I'm like, what is going on with these two stories? So, I pretty much was like, this definitely isn't working. And then customers started lying about how I was doing with the bagging when I was bagging good, but they were rushing me. I was under stress. Even customers were making me cry, calling me names at the register. Yeah. So, what ultimately had to happen was then all of a sudden Menards asks me, "Do you want to be a cart pusher?" I said yes. And then they said, "Oh, we'll double check with you again. We'll try you out." And then they asked me again, and I said no. I'd like to go back to cashiering. And they said, "Okay, fine." And then after that, they did not tell me that I had the job. Here's what happened. I had to be told by a customer service worker that I was no longer cashiering anymore, and that I would be in charge of the cart pushers as head cart pusher and pushing carts. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. But then they forced me into that job, and I found out, and I'm like, I don't want this job. I want to be inside full time. Another reason is, as you know, when I first got hired, it was, I think, Amber's assistant that started with a T, had promised to me by July of 2017, full-time, and I would be on the sales floor. I would be moved away from the cash register that quick. That never happened. Then Amber promised to make me full-time. That never happened. And, yeah. And then, like, the first time, Dan goes and yells at me, claiming that we had a conversation, and I'm like, what conversation? You didn't tell me that we can't pull them rails through them registers. Basically, he yelled at me twice, claiming, oh, you know, and I'm like, what? We never had any conversation or talk. And then today, here we go again. Dan Olson yells at me when I was just gonna go, once I punched back in from break, to shut the security gate. He yells at me saying, oh, we had a conversation, you and I did. And I'm like, what conversation? And he says, you're supposed to check with us and go and take that walkie. We don't want Dan, the cart pusher, to have the walkie a lot. You're supposed to. And I'm like, you don't really want me around, do you? Because we never had a conversation about any of this. This is the first time I know, and you're yelling at me, and you're accusing me of running off. I'm like, I ain't running off. If I would have ran off, I would have been running off to another store. I wouldn't be here, and you would have all the carts and rails outside. And then this afternoon, I could not get caught up one bit. That really made me mad. He wanted Dan inside, where I had no help. I had to leave the rails pile up and grabbing carts. I was hurt because my wrist has been hurting, so has my right shoulder. I can't really do any carryouts, and I don't want to tell him that. And I'm like, wait till I'm gone. Once I get a different job, I'll give you guys a 2-week notice, and, you know, this isn't how you supervise. Because if I was a supervisor, and my associates under me said that, oh, our boss is claiming that she had a conversation with us, and we never had a conversation with her. Here's what Christina would have done. She would have came to me. She would have written me up literally for that. And said, if you do this again, you're demoted. You better go and inform them what the conversation is going to be about right now. And that's what Dan should have realized. We never had a conversation about anything. I had no idea I was supposed to keep checking with them. No idea. Pretty much they yelled at me today for no darn reason. And now it's like, fuck this. I'm gonna be looking for a different job. And, you know, this is what I'd like to tell them. I'd like to wave my hand goodbye to them when the time comes, because it's like, you won't replace me until fucking summer. That's what I'd love to tell them. Because you're not going to be able to find someone that's willing to start at 9-something an hour, work part-time, get treated like cow manure like I am, and get yelled and blamed at and accused of things. No. If it was another cart pusher, they would have walked out the door today. They would have threw their badge on the desk and saying, I quit, and they would have punched out before doing that and walked out the door. But I didn't. but I'm going to be looking for a different job. This is just ridiculous. Once I get out of Menards, I ain't going to shop at Menards East in Eau Claire. If I need anything from Menards, I would rather go to West. This is getting to the point where it's like, that ain't how you treat your employees. If you want to prevent turnover, you might want to talk to Dan about treating employees better. Because this is all getting ridiculous. I don't want to get yelled at, and I don't want to say this to him. I can't keep up on my own. I can only push 6 carts in at a time because I got a bad right shoulder. And now since I pulled my right wrist, I barely have feeling in my right hand. I ain't fit to do carryouts. I ain't fit to push the carts in. I go and I see a doctor about that shoulder. They're gonna put me on light duty. You're gonna have to have Dan the cart pusher out there the whole time. And knowing you won't want me on the register, so I'd be stuck to returns anyway. And that's what I want to say. It's just ridiculous of what's going on. So, and that's what I mean. If you're a supervisor, you can't do that to employees. You gotta literally have a conversation, a real one, not claim that you had one when you didn't. Because that's the truth. Dan Scolfer and I never had a conversation about anything like this. So I'm like, what? What did you do? When you're drunk, imagined or that we had a conversation even though I was never there? I was like, gee, you know? But right now, it's like as soon as I get out of Menards, it's over with me working at East. Because, like I said, and I don't want to say this, and they heard it when they put me to a job that I didn't even want. And then they left me out there. And now they want Dan inside 90% of the time. They never officially made him a cashier, and he continuously apologizes for being dragged inside by Dan Scolfer and Amber, you know. And I know it's not his fault, but it's alright that he is apologizing. That's all I can say. But he doesn't need to.